More and more consumers are trying to shop sustainably, which is great, but don't celebrate and pat yourself on the back just yet, because while many of us have good intentions, as studies have shown, they don't always back it up with what really matters, and that's the purchase. Did you know that when faced with a bargain, only 1 in 4 people considers the environmental impact of their purchase? Now, that's a pretty far cry from the 80% of consumers that say they consider product sustainability when making at least some purchases. Apparently, some means only when they don't stand to save money, which brings me to Black Friday, the time of year when we forget about gratitude, togetherness, and pumpkin pie, and instead transform into wild deal hunting beasts.
In the aisles of some of the nation's biggest retailers, shoppers fighting over garments, shoppers scrambling for safety as gunfire rings out.
Hey everyone, I'm Amber from Sustainable Jungle, where we share sustainability tips, tricks, hacks, products, brands, and stories to better our planet. And today, I want to talk to you about something important in the next couple of weeks. Now, not to sound like Eddard Stark,
and winter is coming.
But Black Friday is coming, and for the planet, it's just about as bleak as winter in the north. Black Friday is the Super Bowl of consumerism, with door-busting sales, crowds wrestling over TVs, and of course, a whole lot of waste. From Black Friday to Cyber Monday, and honestly, the entire week surrounding these anymore, businesses use heavy price discounting and special offers to trigger a sense of urgency and exceptional opportunity to consumers, which triggers a low-cost, high-volume impulse buying, and as a result, overconsumption of unnecessary goods. So, the big question, is it ethical to participate in Black Friday if you care about the planet? Spoiler alert, yes, you can still participate. Not all of you may agree with me, but I am going to show you how to do it a little bit more responsibly, because how we're treating the holiday right now is absolutely, completely unsustainable. Before we start with the facts, be sure to take a quick second to give this video a like, subscribe, and notification alert. No sales spams here, but that way you can at least know when we do post something new to help your progress toward more sustainable living. Let's dig into the details. Now, a whopping 87% of people take part in shopping during Black Friday and Cyber Monday events. In 2023, a record 154 million people in the US participated in Black Friday shopping. Now, that's like half the country, all frantically refreshing their browsers and elbowing through lines at 5 a.m. That year saw 76.2 million in-store shoppers in the US, which was up 4.5% from 72.9 million in 2022, and it also saw over 90 million US online shoppers. All told, this led to a 17.6% increase of order volume from just 2022 to 2023. Almost 20% in 1 year. That's insane. Online shopping has made Black Friday easier and honestly less dangerous than ever, because now we can snag our favorite deals from the comfort of our couches rather than lining up at 5 a.m. and braving the utter stampede of folks who are literally willing to trample you to get 50% off a laptop. And yes, there are some truly amazing deals to be had. I mean, we wouldn't be seeing these rising trends if there weren't. But here's the not so fun part. While Black Friday is known for its great deals and massive savings, it also comes with a not really actually that hidden environmental cost. See, this surge in consumer activity during the period leads to significant waste and carbon emissions, far beyond typical levels. In fact, the week surrounding Black Friday in the US generates about 25% more waste than usual, sending around 1 million additional tons of garbage to landfills. And let's talk about the impact of delivering all of those orders. I'm talking 429,000 tons of greenhouse gas emissions each year in the UK alone, and 145 billion packages delivered worldwide. Now, that's a lot of packaging waste and a lot of shipping emissions. And just a quick side note, if you think I'm a shopping addict because I have all these boxes here, I'm not. I'm just a gremlin who hoards things and collects reused boxes so that I can use them to ship things out for my small business. You should see my storage unit. It's box mountain. It's awful. Anyway, but see also our video on reusing versus hoarding, apparently. And to touch on a little bit of a lesser considered impact of Black Friday shopping, let's not forget the fact that our inboxes are inundated with sale-related content, abandoned cart emails, sale notifications, low stock notifications. It just goes on and on. And aside from the massive annoyance that makes the task of checking our emails, remember that emails utilize servers and storage, which take energy to function and thus produce greenhouse gas emissions. So those 50 or 50 billion Black Friday email campaigns that you're going to be sent this year, well, considering that sending a single email produces an average of 26 grams of CO2, I don't think I actually need to do the back of the napkin math here for you to get the point. So, Am I saying that Black Friday is evil? Well, not exactly. See, the issue isn't shopping. Well, it is, but I'm being realistic here, knowing that we're not just going to completely stop the masses from shopping, period. But the main problem is the mindless shopping and overconsumption associated with the holiday and the weekend. You know, when you buy a 7th Bluetooth speaker because it was 50% off, and why not? So, as conscious consumers, should we participate? I mean, in an ideal world, no. We shouldn't and wouldn't have to participate in a day whose purpose is to encourage consumption, basically for the sake of consuming and for buying things that we don't need. But I think we can all agree that this certainly is not an ideal world that we're living in. And the reality is, times are really tough. And for the upcoming holiday season, many people are going to depend on these deals to tick off their gift lists, or even just to buy household essentials, honestly. I'm personally of the belief that it's incredibly elitist to make the blanket statement that no one should shop on Black Friday, because in today's unfortunate economy, some people simply can't afford not to. And I, for one, am absolutely not here to judge anyone in that position. I've been there. Okay, so knowing all that, let's move on to talk about some ways that you can still take advantage of those possibly needed financial savings without contributing your hard-earned dollars to the cycle of mindless consumption that the holiday has otherwise become. So the first thing that you should do is to make a plan. So think of Black Friday like preparing for a stealth mission. Go in prepared. Only buy what you actually need, not just what looks like a good deal. Because as we've seen with websites like Temu, you should check out our video on them if you haven't already, a lot of places actually just inflate the MSRP of an item to make the sale price seem better. It's not particularly difficult to change a few numbers on the sign to convince customers that they're saving more money than they might otherwise be actually saving. Now, is that saying that all Black Friday deals are bunk? Definitely not. But before buying, do a little bit of research on the item to see what it actually sells for on an everyday basis to see if it's really worth it. I also find it really helpful to make a list, but I'm a list person. I make lists for everything. Half the time I forget my list when I actually go shopping, but that's beside the point. If you make your list to remember it, you're doing better than me. So for example, if you're using Black Friday to shop for gifts, make sure to list out everyone that you want to give a gift to and maybe some ideas next to their name about what to get them or some things that they like. Or if you're mostly using it to buy things for you and your household that you need, think about things that you've been wanting to upgrade for a really long time. Write it down. This might be the time to do that. And yet only 45% of people shop for things on Black Friday they've been wanting to get for a while. So to avoid falling into that other 55th percentile, list the items out and go shopping specifically with the intention of buying those. So that way you're not as likely to get sucked into that vortex of buying just to buy or buying what you never knew that you needed. Now, on that note, and this is probably the most important theme of this video, avoid impulse buys. Do not fall for the hype. Please. Stores these days hype up their sales for weeks before the actual weekend. But don't fall for it and get persuaded into buying something just on that excitement alone. Just because it's on sale doesn't mean you need it. About 60%, give or take depending on the product category, of Black Friday purchases are impulse buys. That's basically your brain on a sale high. The psychology of buying things on sale taps into several cognitive and emotional triggers. One of the strongest being the fear of missing out, or the FOMO, as we all know, where consumers worry that they will lose out on a great deal if they don't act quickly, which is of course only magnified exponentially on Black Friday with stores who quite literally do have limited stock on things, and they've been known to sell out in minutes of doors opening, after people getting trampled to death, of course. But those 17 lives are worth it for the little extra savings, right? But even if we're talking about online shopping where stock is not as limited, sales are always designed to create a sense of urgency with limited time offers, pushing people to make impulsive decisions. There's also the concept of perceived value. So getting a discount can make us feel like we're being smart with our money, even if that product isn't something we actually need. And so on the whole, we're being more financially responsible than if we just didn't buy it at all. And additionally, the reward system in our brains is activated by the dopamine rush that we get when we score a deal, which reinforces the behavior. All these factors make it really easy to justify unnecessary purchases. You know, treat yourself, right? But if we're trying to be a little bit mindful, we do need to rein that in. Because consider this. So 62% of Gen Z say that they prefer to shop sustainably. Yet an almost equivalent 60% of Gen Z shoppers also say that they regret at least one Black Friday purchase. See what I mean about the best of intentions going bust? It's estimated that 1 in 3 consumers go on to return their Black Friday impulse buys within 30 days of purchase. And around 30 million items will be returned this Black Black Friday. That might not seem like a huge deal, but consider that each return represents the release of additional greenhouse gas emissions from transportation, especially if you bought it online, as well as the waste of packaging. And you might think that that item is going to be resold to somebody else, and maybe it will, but oftentimes returned products are actually not resold and are just stored away as dead stock and eventually get thrown away. And all that's not even to speak of the products that were bought during Black Friday that are kept and used maybe a little bit, but still have an overall very short life because they weren't needed, they were redundant, or maybe they were just poor quality. More than 57% of consumers think Black Friday is just a scam to get people to spend more money. I mean, they're right. Well, sure, you can 100% save money on things that you do need and things that are great. It's really important to keep in mind that you're still spending more money on those deals than you would be by not shopping at all. And I know that sounds really painfully obvious, but it's something that a lot of us simply don't think about when we're actually in the moment and experiencing that shopping high. So in the context of conscious consumption, it is so important to pause before you buy that inflatable hot tub or an air fryer for your air fryer and ask, do I really need this, or am I just being drawn to the discount? And while you're at it, avoid BOGO style deals, because unless it's something consumable like skincare products or food, you probably don't need 2 or more. But it's free! Well, yeah, I get it, but focus on percentage off deals or coupons that let you buy the quantity that you actually want and, more importantly, need. Now, if there is a BOGO deal that's just too good to refuse on something that you do need, maybe try to find a friend or a family member that wants the second item, and maybe they'd even be willing to split the cost with you, so that way you're even saving more money. Next, shop from sustainable brands and sources. I'm talking about companies that are transparent with their labor practices, carbon footprint, and use eco-friendly material. Ideally compostable ones, but at least recycled or recyclable. No plastic poly bags if you can help it. So if you've been eyeing an organic cotton hoodie from a sustainable brand, maybe one that we've recommended on our website, Black Friday is a great time to score it at a discount. And you can also do this by shopping small. Now, I know that we've tacked Small Business Saturday into the weekend now, but I'm personally of the belief that we should make the whole weekend focused on small businesses. And yes, I run a small business, so maybe I'm a little bit biased. But tons of shops on Etsy and other small business platforms offer Black Friday deals too. But coming from somebody who does just that, maybe just don't expect those sales to be as grand as the ones that you find in big box stores. And they shouldn't be, because most small businesses already operate on a much slimmer profit margin. So they will literally be losing money if they're offering things like buy two, get one free. Or consider secondhand shopping. These prices are always going to be lower than buying new, and secondhand platforms are not actually exempt from Black Friday sales either. Platforms like eBay or ThredUp often offer excellent deals on secondhand items, and they run sales just like other marketplaces do. So it's a really great way to reduce your environmental footprint while also scoring an extra big bargain. Also, try to shop from fewer places overall, because combining deliveries can drastically reduce emissions from transportation and the amount of packaging materials needed. And no matter from whom you're buying, opt for quality, not quantity. This is literally the best rule of thumb that you can follow to buy sustainably any time of the year. Choose durable, long-lasting products over cheaper, disposable alternatives. And yes, this might mean spending a little bit more upfront, but it will save you money in the long run by avoiding frequent replacements. So, what's the verdict? Is it ever ethical to participate in Black Friday? The answer is, it depends. If you're thoughtful about your purchases, stick to sustainable brands, and avoid the hype of overconsumption, you can 100% take advantage of Black Friday deals without turning it into a wasteful disaster. But it does come down to remembering that every dollar you spend is a vote for the kind of world you want to live in. And with that, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and please do let me know in the comments how you plan to shop more sustainably this Black Friday. Maybe that means you're not going to be shopping at all. And if so, good for you. I won't be either, but that's half because my small crafting business means Black Friday kicks off an incredibly busy month where I basically black out until Christmas. So, at the very least, if you manage to avoid buying the 7th Bluetooth speaker this year, well, that's at least something of a win. Now, before you go make your solid sustainable plan for Black Friday shopping this year, don't forget to give us a like and a subscribe because it really does help our small channel grow. Thank you once again for watching. I am Amber from SJ, wishing you all an Earth-happy holiday shopping season.